Welcome. This is Empress Nix. Good morning. Yes, we're a little early this morning because I got cowboyed out of my sleep. Yes, I got cowboyed out of my sleep, so it was time to pony up. So here we go. All right, so there was a lot in the energy. I'm hearing dead men can't pay no bills. I'm hearing that someone in the collective wasn't supposed to live long enough to collect the debt. And someone was very determined to make that a very, very true answer. See, someone owes you. They owe you a lot. They owe you an apology. They owe you some dough. They owe you so much. They owe you opportunities. They owe you jobs. They owe you the clearance of your reputation. Oh, they owe you big. But they never thought that you would live long enough to collect the debt. See, that was the whole case in point. They told everybody that that was nothing. They'd never pay you. You never see any red cent. You never see a dollar coming from them. Because who are you and who did you think you were? Somebody also said you ain't gonna do nothing about it. They said that you didn't know. You weren't smart enough to figure it out. Dang, collective, it's an insult. Oh yeah, there's a group of men and women who sit around and talk about what you got going on, your romantic life. Every time they think you're about to get a good partner, they actually say some really nasty things. They say that you have something. And I don't know if anybody knows, but that's defamation of character. That's definitely a surefire defamation of character. You know, saying someone has something and you don't know. That's why I always encourage to ask people's status. And if not, go get tested. So that you're not passing around rumors. Because that one could be detrimental. Okay, so someone wants to ruin someone's reputation so that they don't get a valuable partner. So they want everybody to give them the stank face. But do they know that the person who's basically trying to keep one person from having a healthy partner is the person that's health is declining? And they're jealous, and that's one of the main reasons why they need someone to believe that someone else has an STD or a terminal illness. They don't want to see that person happy because they've undoubtedly made some enemies with their own loins. And even if the disease that they mentioned is curable, they just want somebody to have a really bad reputation because they're tired of seeing the collective win. Even if it's just waking up and smiling, they just don't want them to do that. Mm. Also got an energy where God came through for one of the karmics. It's crazy, right? Imagine, here's this. You took a contract to destroy somebody's way of living, someone's quality of life. You decided that you were going to put a hamper on someone's finances because you had access to a system that can do that. In the same instance that you decide that you're going to do that, you lose your wallet. With your ID, your phone, your keys, you lose your keys to your car, you lose your keys to your house. That's God's way of warning you. The same way that you could put someone in financial and identity straits, It's the same way it could happen to you. So someone did lose a wallet, a purse, a keys, or something to their house. The same people who decided that they were going to go against the collective, and for some reason, amnesia, convenient amnesia just popped up, and they forgot that they were part of something, of taking something from somebody for no reason. And in that moment, when they became the victim of a circumstance, they forgot that they were victimizing somebody but God. He gave them mercy in that instance. He allowed this thing to be turned back just to see, just to test their faith. See what God did for you? Now look at you trying to play God in somebody's life. Are you sure you want to proceed like this? See, some warnings don't look like what they are supposed to be. Sometimes God gives you mercy just so he could see if you have mercy in yourself. Don't think he got a whole endless bag that he's just going to give to you. He has other kids. So maybe you got away with it at the moment. But look at God. He returned back. He gave you your keys. You found your keys. Someone brought you back your wallet. Somebody located your purse, or you were able to return back and get it. That was grace given so that you can understand just how quickly your life can be disheveled just by an incident. But I don't think they listened. I don't think they listened. I think they thought that they had God's favor, and they are still going to keep doing it over and over and over again until they get the big lesson. Well, it's the big show. I think I know why he told me to grab this hat. Sometimes you got to pony up. So I'm getting in the energy. There's two female energies in a hotel room, and they've got a pew pew. I don't know whether they're waiting on a man, or the man left, or there was a man involved, or they met up with him. But there's something going on in this hotel, and they have this thing. What starts off as a conversation and reasoning doesn't end so well. So there's two females, there's a hotel, and we'll read about it or see about it or whatever in the next few days, because usually I'm not that far off. Two feminine energies, a hotel, a meeting. Maybe there's a male, maybe there's not, but there's two females. And they're upset. They're not ugly females. They're pretty nice looking females. The thing about it is they have very low self-esteem. And they've been in the male circuit so long that they've kind of been sexually castrated. They don't feel as good as what they look. So it tends to make them jealous of others who they may feel get the same attention or better attention than they get. Even though they get quite a few attentions, it's just that they've gotten greedy over the years through certain males wanting to humble them, so they decide that they were going to do the same thing to other women. Since they get humbled by men, even though they know that they're all that, apparently they don't. Because why would you let someone push you into such an ugly agenda? If you felt like you were truly all that, why would you take a contract to destroy another attractive woman when you are said attractive woman? Don't you think that the same thing can happen to you really badly? People get a little isolated in this world by their train of thought. You keep hanging around the same people pleasers, they're going to help you trap yourself, because you're going to find yourself outside of that circle one day having to navigate, and God forbid you navigate just like you do in that circle. You're going to find yourself in a bit of a pickle. There's somebody right now sitting here and their heart is not feeling that great. Their stomach isn't feeling that great either, but their heart is not feeling that great, and they don't know why it doesn't feel that great. That's how convenient that amnesia just sets in. They constantly forget that they're actually trying to manipulate someone else's free will, while trying to maintain their own. And it seems a bit unfair to the universe, the ancestors. It seems a bit unfair to the elements. It seems a bit unfair to God that you should use all his resources to try to alter his wishes for his children, yet you still want the same grace, the same peace, the same space. It seems a bit hypocritical that you should get up and want to be free to go about your day, yet every day of your existence consists of trying to mentally, physically, financially, nutritionally entrap this person into misery because you don't like the way they said something or did something, or the way they received something, or the way someone gave them something. You feel as though they don't deserve it. So who's looking at you feeling as though you don't deserve something? And do you know that some people wait about 7 business years before they usually take action? God forbid who you've offended. Are you looking both ways before you cross people? Because I'm sure you're paranoid as you cross the street, but I don't think you carry the same caution when it comes to people. You see people as terrain. You like to roll over people. You assign them the tag of weakness, not really even knowing them and what their strength is and what they have to really go through and what they've already been through. Because you tell yourself that you are a milestone. That's pretty big thinking. It's very arrogant of you. Well, you see, the universe needs confidence, and at some point you did read like you were confident. At some point the universe was going to help bend and mold and shape things to make things go your way, but then you got that chip on your shoulder. And now it has to be disintegrated. It has to be taken down notch by notch by notch. Not all at once, because it needs to go slow, because dead men pay no bills. See, you told yourself that this person wouldn't live long enough to collect the debt from you. But actually, you got to see that the word has exchanged. Can't let you go down into the ground without paying that bill. Nobody wants to be at your eulogy talking about what you owe them. I mean, not unless you set your kids up with enough money that they've gone to make sure that your estate gets paid out. But some of you don't even have a pot to piss in, yet you use all your prayers against someone else when you need to be using them for yourself. You need to be using them for your health. You need to be using them for your wealth. You need to be using it for your nutrition, but instead you use your opportunity to pray for you and your situation to pray against someone else, because comparison is definitely a thief. There are some people with a lot of money but don't have a lot of other things that kind of go with having the money. And they tell themselves because they can buy this, this, and that, it's okay. My dear, you've got a bill to pay. I think you need to save it. But you are confident, and you told yourself that this person wouldn't live long enough to collect a red cent from you. But, like I said, you're going to be living long enough to pay that debt. So you need to start saving up and stop spending so frivolously. Paying debts don't look the same all the time. Sometimes your debt might be getting a big old hospital bill that has nothing to do with your account, because your account will look like a drop in the bucket when you get that bill. It's all by creative design, divine design. That's the way he'll do it. You're talking that person won't get one red cent. Well, how about that other entity that actually knows who you are and where you are and your address? What about your neighbors? What about that stranger in the street? What about your next lover? See, the universe is going to make you pay that debt. Some of you think you're going to check out before you get to get, before you hear, check please. That ain't the way it's going to go. Surely you're going to pay with something. And for God's sake, I hope not. Not with someone. Because we don't know exactly how much energy and exchange you put out there. Some of you did a lot. Some of you did a little. Either way, you did it. Dirty hands and blood guilt. It's a nasty, nasty place to play around in. I told you I got pushed out of my sleep to give this message. Like, what? There's a lot of carnality going on at night. They're using the moon. They're very desperate. Someone has a very bad ego. There's a lawyer. There's somebody who's emotionally removed, yet emotionally attached. See, it's about their pride and their ego. They have no heart in it. No love is lost or gained in this. This is all business, but it's about reputation and ego. And they're surefire win. They have to win. They told us so. Especially the amount of money they collected on the behalf of getting this work done. Maybe it's a practitioner, which we do call lawyers practitioners at times. See? You're too paranoid. You're thinking that practitioners are something that they're not. It's just a person that practices until it's mastered. And it makes them a practitioner because that's their practice. You see how that word plays out? But yeah, there's somebody in the administration. There's somebody that does a lot of push. But what? It's a paper gangster. They do a lot of paper pushing. And they like to dabble in the magics in between. Maybe they're taking some kind of illicit drug. Maybe they're on that powder. Maybe they're on the booger sugar. Maybe they're on the rocks, the fruity pebbles, the... Maybe they're on the drinks, because I heard that's a new thing. They've got Molly, they've got all sorts of things. And for some reason, when these people get some extra money and they don't have the extra energy, they take these things to compensate so they can get the job done. Somebody's debt might be a habit that might consume them. Might even be gambling. Might even be corn. Whatever this person's habit is, if they don't get ready to pay this debt, they're going to pay in other ways that they've never imagined. Can you imagine trying to rip everything from a person's life and then you slowly start to notice things start to change? Might start with a tire being flat. Might not. Might start with the car being repoed. Might not. Might be a little small illness that turns into a big infection, that turns into an autoimmune disease. You can't really pronounce that fast, so you got to go slow when you're talking and walking and breathing. Might lose a loved one. Might see a friend lose a loved one that you liked. We never know how this energy goes, because as the same as a gun, when you shoot a bullet, the bullet has no name. So unless you're a marksman of sorts, surely you might hit something, but it might not be what you aimed for. So there's some energy just running around trying to find a place to go because someone sent it out, so it has to go somewhere. And cursing without cause is surely a way to cause a backfire, to give someone no ammunition and to give nothing energy enough to attach to. Surely will make that energy bounce back. What did I tell you? Rubber and glue. So if you're cursing without a cause, you're running around blaming a person, saying this person doesn't deserve, this person shouldn't have, I declare, I do something, I don't know. So if you're running around trying to declare, trying to demand, trying to do all these things, trying to declare some things in another person's life, surely you understand that there is power in someone else to do the same to you. It might not even be the same person that decides to do something to you. So, of course, you may be cursing without cause. And the person closest to you with negativity that's vibrating low enough might catch whatever curse you put out. Especially if a person's hands aren't dirty. They haven't said anything to you. They haven't. Some people don't even know you. You got hired to go against a person you don't even know, and you thought you were safe because you don't know them. But here's the thing. That person might have lied and said, this person's attacking me. You got to get them. And that person's drinking iced tea and thought of that person not in many years, not in many moons, not in many months, many minutes, many seconds. And you're sitting there acting as though this person is under attack, and this person's told you a lie. Someone has misled you into going into all of these things, putting your hands in so much dirt. And come to find out, that person just doesn't like them because they're doing a little bit better in life. Or they don't like their smile. Or they don't like their choices or their options or their opportunities. So they came to a practitioner with worked up nerves and they acted it out and they said, when I get to the practitioner, I'm going to tell them this person is hurting me. They hurt children. They hurt themselves. I'm going to tell them that person's an addict. That person's running around giving out STDs. I'm going to tell them that person says bad things. I'm going to tell them that person's angry. I'm going to tell that person that that person's a maniac. That person self hurts and all that. I'm going to tell that person everything, and I'm going to tell them to give them everything that they've got, whatever thing that they can do, whatever energy they can send out. I want them to get the whole cocktail. And then you hold your hand out for the money from that person because that person knows they have to pay you for that work, even as worked up as they are. They give you the money and you decide that you're going to go all in. And in the midst of you going all in, stuff starts to happen a little weird in your life. And then you're not getting that good quality sleep you used to get. You used to sleep like a baby after you did certain things, but now, not so much. Your favorite meals don't taste that good. You're a little paranoid when you eat them. When you get flirted with, you double take because you don't know what a person's motive is because you know you have double motives, right? So the projection is now starting to get into you because you accepted this person's money. So now you've accepted this person's energy. So some of their projections is hitting the daggone practitioner, whoever they paid to do it. Some of the projections are going to hit them because at that point they came into agreement which made alignment. Which means that they're vibrating low enough for whatever energy work to be done to start hitting them and their crew. Because collectively we've ascended out of the way and we're protected as well. And some of us are doing more praying, more meditating, more cleansings than normal because we understand that the energy is starting to be a little bit more chaotic as anxiety starts to set in because there are a lot of people throwing energy for different reasons. There are so many groups around each other. And everybody's getting hit with each other's stuff and they're blaming the collective because they don't want to admit to whoever they paid that they did curse without cause. And now that people are starting to meet up and compare notes, they're like, okay, well, maybe the collective is doing something to us and we should go harder. And now everybody's going batshit crazy. There are some people that are now starting to become unhinged from their reality because they keep playing around in this energy. They keep running around with the rumors. Hey, this one has this. Hey, this one's like that. Oh, don't talk to them. That guy is a player. That girl, she's a hoe. Don't settle down. Come on, they got ulterior motives and they're all invested in trying to keep the collective away from things, not knowing that at the same time that they're keeping other people from things because other people are starting to look. Why is that person so messy? Why is that person always talking about that person? They're never with that person. How could they know what that person is? Last time I saw the person that they're talking about, they don't look nothing like them. In fact, they look better. Did you smell that guy's cologne? Last time His homeboy kept saying that I think homeboy a hater. Something like that. Like I said, they said, dead men tell no tales either. They don't even want you to tell your story. Dang. Well, that happens to be a bill too. Because that's a testimony and that's valuable. That's actually priceless. Can you actually cash that check? I digress. I digress. I'm the neighborhood love dealer, and I even wouldn't let you go into debt with that. Okay? A negative's a negative. All I know is get your payment up front, collective. And get it all filed and make sure you take names. Because there's a reckoning about to come through like a tumbleweed. And I'm hoping that you've gotten prepared in case you have to move out of the way. We don't know when these things are coming, but just know that you need to stay covered because some people might try to position themselves close to you to even make you part of the collateral damage. Some people don't care. Some people have gone so far as to, they're willing to take themselves out as long as you go. And that's a very dangerous place to be in. All because they want to go down in victory one way or the other. You got to be very careful with a person that holds on and bites on like that. You know how they get pit bulls to unlock? They usually throw boiling water on them. Or in much non-humane ways, sometimes they express pain on them that makes them unlock. And God knows what his children need. So if you're going to run around and lock jaw like pit bulls, then maybe that's the first step before euthanization. Haven't the slightest. All I know is curse without cause is a thing. Do what you will, but harm no one is a thing. Dead men pay no bills is also a thing. But you got a bill to pay. And I doubt they're going to get you the easy way out. Some are going to try to take themselves, but they're not going to be allowed to. Instead, they're going to be stuck. Be careful how you try to do it, because you could turn yourself into a vegetable and then you'll have nobody to blame but your own actions because you just didn't want to pay that bill. Can you imagine trying to throw your life away because you tried to throw somebody else's life away and you got caught and now you want to do it and then God won't even let you and the devil helps because you've got a bill to pay for him too because you did ask him a lot of things. So now they're in cahoots together against you. And you've got to stay trapped in your body, trapped in your mind, however it is. Some people get trapped without arms and usage of their legs, without usage of their fingers. Some people get paralyzed from the neck down. I remember that happened one time to a guy who thought he was going to talk trash to my niece. And he was talking trash from the porch and he slipped and fell off the porch and ended up paralyzed from the column down. All he had left was a head. See, that's what happens when you have the debt to pay. Sometimes it just won't take you out. It'll just take out all your ability to do things to others so that you find yourself as vulnerable as you wanted someone else to be. But he'll give you a way to pay that bill. You'll be sitting there in dust balls and cotton balls in your own lint because you're in debt. Because this is ultimately what you wanted for someone else because you cursed without cause. You let your own ego, your own pride, your money, God already said there's no ransom you can pay for a man that he would accept. You've been down here so long on this earthly plane that you actually trust it. And that's why God has to intervene sometime, because he has to let you know that he told you to trust no man. He told you to trust no thing on this earth. Only trust him. And he's a jealous God, and he will take vengeance and wrath. And you the one doing the offending. Like I said, don't curse without cause. But you're hard-headed. You say rules are meant to be broken. You didn't listen to your mom. You didn't listen to your dad. So you're definitely not going to listen to the big guy. You're not going to listen to Big Daddy. For those of you who assume that I'm talking to my actual father, my father's soul has gone to rest because I give all praise and surrender to the Lord. That's who I call Daddy. I call Daddy the Lord, because even my father, my fleshly father, was imperfect at some time. He did some mistakes. Still love him to pieces. But like I said, he was a flesh, so he had fallacies, just like everybody else. But when I'm praying and I'm mentioning Daddy, I'm not mentioning my fleshly father. I am mentioning the Most High God, Yahweh, Elohim, Yeshua, the way, the truth. Yeah, I am. That's who I'm calling Daddy. No, 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 no. You keep calling your boyfriend Daddy. You keep calling your husband Daddy. Okay, you do that. I'm going to save the respect for where the respect needs to be. I'm not going to be blasphemous. I'm not going to do the debauchery. I'm not going to play these games with you. So, as we move forward, I'm going to get into the Psalms and then the Tarot, and then I'm going to sign out. It's going to be a short one. Like I said, I got cowboyed out of my sleep. I had the pleasure of talking to someone about Lawrence Fishburne and who he was before he became Morpheus. And it's crazy, a lot of people still don't know that Lawrence Fishburne used to be on Pee Wee Herman as Cowboy Hank. That's who he was, Cowboy Hank. He was skinny and he had a jerry curl like Eazy-E. And then he turned into Morpheus. You have to understand that there are times where a person will be young, and then there's a time where a person will mature. And some people cursed you or based on your disposition when they last met you, or your perceived position. See, people didn't know that the reason why you didn't speak was because you already had understood that they couldn't comprehend. Even if you were get to speaking, they wouldn't comprehend it, or they didn't plan on comprehending it because they didn't have the tools and they didn't come prepared, and they wouldn't have used them anyway because they already had primary bias. They had biased off of a picture, they had biased off of an associate, they had biased off of some information given. They weren't going to see past your words because they already had their own understanding. So you see, they already came with a cursed understanding. It was already prepaid in their head what they wanted to do. So anything you said wouldn't have changed anything. It just would have given them something to try to curtail around. You can't imagine how many times this week people have asked me if I'm actually from Baltimore. I don't sound like it. I'll never sound like it because I'm from myself. Even the people that I used to identify with, I no longer identify with. I've never really identified with. This is why they didn't care what would have happened, because I'm just too different for them to actually claim. And they don't want to keep explaining how this person ended up that way. They don't like the comparison. They don't like that it's an implied comparison. Even if the person isn't saying that they feel as though you might have came out a little bit different than them, they're taking the different as better. Even if a person isn't saying it plainly, they're just taking the comparison as better. That's because that's their own projection. That's their own thoughts. They're just taking the assumption and they're going with it. And they're like, yeah, the reason why they're questioning me is because they think they're better. Who do they think they are? I'm going to curse them again, because how dare they have people looking at me and questioning my reason. How dare they question me? I told them that person was worthless. How dare they come back and question me that they were worthless? Why? Because they tried to look like something? Why? Because they're pretending? Why? See, this is the reasons that they make up, because they have to make you seem as though you are an imposter. Because to be seen for the truth, they are an imposter. They want to act as though they are the ones that have clean hands, but honestly, they are not. Because why are they so hell spent for years and years and years? You're going at a person who still hasn't gone at you because they're trying to do life. They're trying to actually get through things despite you and your efforts. And even when people still see them doing the same things that they've been doing for years, because you keep crying about it, because you keep whining about it, because you keep trying to distort their presence, they keep having to fight battles that they haven't caused. Battles that you've put in their place because you couldn't fight a battle. You couldn't fight your way out of a wet paper bag. But you be damned if they keep showing strength that you don't have. So you have to rob them of their strength so that you can appear strong, even though you haven't leaned on yourself since the beginning. And you got to keep up the chaos because that's your strategy. You keep up the chaos so that nobody can get any footing. Trust me, I've been trying to solidify this man not contacting me, not bothering me since 2018, since I put in the things of divorce, and he's ran around the whole city getting people. I know specifically my family helps my ex-husband because they both have the same problem, which is me living my life freely and independent of them and their opinions, because they're trying to be in control of things. The one ex-husband is upset because I got divorced before I published my book, and he's trying to get money out of me because I'm a gold digger. Make that make sense. And the weird women of my family, that includes my brother because he doesn't identify as a woman but acts as one, they want everybody to see me as an illegitimate lover because they've been illegitimate lovers all their life, only getting into relationships just to survive. And they're upset that I don't do the same thing so that they can say we're all the same. I stick out just like that sore thumb that they might have from doing God knows what. Hope you wash it, stink finger. There are people that just don't want the collective to have their just due, because their just due would mean that you didn't put any work. You really were the fraudulent person that they said you were. It's just that you don't want anything that the collective says to be true, because that would make you a false person, and you've built such a reputation off of falsities. And because the collective really didn't know that they were fighting a one-sided fight and that they even had to put up their dukes in the first place, they came late. And they caught maybe a half a fade, but then when they were able to swing back and come back around with the whoa, there you go. Your chin all swelled up. Your eye all busted. You got one eye down. Don't make them tell you twice. But then again, some people ain't born with the quit in them. Whew. Yeehaw. Pony up. So something's going to ride down on you sooner or later, maybe in the dark, maybe at the park, maybe at the lake, maybe when you fake. We don't know. Because that's how time ebb and flows, you know. You got to let these things take time. It takes time. Judgment has to happen. Hearts have to be weighed. Deeds have to be checked. Words and thoughts. I know Jesus reads those emails and those text messages. Somebody's got a lot to explain. And he doesn't want to come through on a small fade. He wants to really get this one. Because there are some people that have karma that's outside of all sorts of things. They've got karma coming from all sorts of directions. But they seem to be very focused on this one assignment, not realizing that their hands are still dirty from other things that they've done. It's just this one assignment seems to be taking precedence at now. So that was the last few warnings for something before somebody's destruction. I'm telling you, Sometimes he gives grace as a warning so that you can know that God does intercede on everybody's behalf, even yours. But some of you take it as a green light to keep going. You say, yeah, well, obviously I haven't offended him enough that he keeps working out for me. And he's like, ha ha ha, this is an idiot. This is a fool. Greed will be the downfall of this person. You see, the ones that know better, they take them out first because they're closest to the word, they're closest to the promise, and they knew better. Just like Jehoram got taken out because he married Athaliah, knowing what she was capable of, knowing she worshiped Baal, he took him first by cancer. He gave him cancer of the bunghole. So a lot of stuff, a lot of added up diseases will give you autoimmune diseases or the big C, which is cancer, because it builds up, the deeds build up in the system. So that's why Jehoram got taken out first, was because he knew God darn well. Actually, he had orders not to do it. So those of you who actually took oaths, those of you who actually knew that that was what you were doing were wrong at the time in which you were doing it, those of you who actually knew better, you guys will suffer first. The ones who actually don't know, who are ignorant, who were brought up lying, stealing, thieving. Some people actually from very, very, very young were brought up to steal for the family. They've been thieves all their lives. All their lives, they've never operated in the right way, which would make them like Athaliah. So you see, sometimes the ones who think that they are best or better than the ones that they know have sinned all their lives, no, the ones who know better, they got to go first, because they got to be made an example of. Because how do you know better and still do worse? If you've already come under the teachings, you've grown up in the church, you've been with the Bible, you've had the teachings of Jebediah, yet you still went in knowing you were going into a wicked house, and you allowed them to enthrall you. You allowed them to consume your blessings when you were supposed to go in and transmute the energy and show them me. That's what God would say, not me. I don't want you to look at me. But yeah, that part. So you abandon your teachings, you abandon your blessings, you abandon your calling, because you wanted to please the Jezebel. You wanted to please Athaliah. You wanted to please your wife. You wanted to please your husband, knowing that they were in bad union with the other side. Well, see, they actually get to see you pass first. And the funniest thing is, they get to laugh and they're like, oh, they checked out. They believed in God too. Yeah, they checked out first. Ha, ha, ha. I'm going to live longer. See, it's called building a case. I got that from my ex's side chick when she used to call me and tell me, oh, yeah, we going out tonight. You want to see my outfit? She really thought she was trying to make me crash out, but I thought she was an idiot. And she was giving me my case because I was actually still married to the fool while she was sending me these pictures. I surrendered it to God, because how dare you come and say, well, I know how cheating goes because I used to be married. So that means that gives you license to go and mess up everybody else's marriage since someone messed up yours. Interesting. So what God will probably do is give you a marriage where you'll get trapped in with a situation where your man will give you STDs and you can't go nowhere, because what? He'll want to be in control of you. I mean, it's what you wanted. You wanted someone's husband. Now you get your husband, and now you got to worry about your husband being someone else's petri dish. Or you got to worry about being your husband's petri dish, because now you can't leave, because he certainly put you in the prison of your health not being too well. And you've got to risk giving things to other people, not unless you're going to go that hard. And then you've got to risk being turned into the health department. You can test the spirit. Lawyers and judges order subpoenas for health records all the time. And they'll even make you get a DNA test or or go get some testing and bring back your lab work. So you can test the spirit all you want. But this is what I'm saying. You be sure that you can deal with the real results, the truth, when the truth comes out. Because surely you were willing to live and exude with a lie. So take that same energy, keep that same energy when the truth arrives, okay? Because you are willing to walk tall with your lives. Somebody keeps getting rounds of Sonobello's cool sculpting, but they're not cool. They're just spending their money on temporary fixes. I remember I saw a person go get a tummy tuck and then they got pregnant immediately, and it kind of defeat the purpose. And why would you get pregnant by a man that couldn't even afford to get you the first appointment, and you let him destroy that, and then now he's gone, gone, gone. Now the only way you're going to be able to keep that weight down is to either adapt some kind of eating disorder, or to live your life so hard that you can't gain weight for lack of nutrition. Or you can pick C and just become an addict and drink yourself into the size you want it to be. That's how other people do it. They don't exercise. They just don't eat well, don't eat healthy, and don't sit down. They just burn all their energy on useless stuff. That's the way to look like a parasite. Eat them. Either way, us collective, we're going to stay fat and flourishing. We're going to stay round and fleshy and fluffy. No, not in an unhealthy way. We're going to keep that balance together because we know we still got to have our things together. We still want to get into the healthy realm of things, right? We're not looking at high cholesterol and high sugar. And some of us who are, hopefully you're getting those things under order, because this is what I'm saying. You don't want to be so dependent on all these medications and things of that nature. If Big Pharma should ever shut down or raise the price or anything should ever be changed, you don't want to be caught unawares and not able to do anything naturally with your health, just in case you can't get to those chemicals and those chemical reactions. Because medication dependency is also a big old sin here, because some people, instead of doing the right thing, eating right, living right, taking the diet, taking the walks, turning off the TV, doing this, doing that, they'd rather put themselves in a situation where they end up taking medicine to compensate for whatever they've robbed their body of. And that's a sin, because you had a chance to fix these things naturally. I gave you chance after chance after chance after chance. Yet you keep wanting to go to the doctor, and the doctor has no other incentive than to keep billing you, because he's got bills. He's got things to do. He's got other places to go. None of his patients look like you, so he's happy that you pay him so that he can go and be around people he'd like to look at. Don't let that go over your head. There are people that actually get up. They set themselves on a schedule. They set themselves on your schedule. They watch when you wake up. They watch when you leave out. They watch what you do so that they can be in sync, so that they can follow you and get your details and get your schedule, and just try to harass you, try to say things to you, try to send people your way. They try it. And it's actually quite funny and hilarious when you catch it. And some of them tell themselves when they go back to wherever they have to report to, I think they saw me. I think they realized. I think they noticed. They mentioned something that made me sit there and look at them a little weird, because I was wondering if they thought it was me that was doing it. There are some people that go back and they tell stories about you that actually make other people, give people a little pause, but it doesn't stop them. It just gives them a little pause, and they say, you know what, we're going to try something else. Because they're desperate. They've already taken that money, and they don't want to give any refunds, and they don't want to lose their reputation. So they're going to just keep going hard until something happens. Even if it happens to them. And they tell themselves that they can go to church every Sunday, or they can go pray somewhere, or they can wear some little talisman or something for protection, and that's going to protect them in the long run. But guess what? All the elements that you're using to do all of these things with, they come from the Most High. Yep, even that dead men's bones, even that dirt at that graveyard, it all came from the Most High. It's soil, it's dirt. Roses and stuff grow from it. It's fertilizer. And you're full of shit. So here we are now, seeing that the ground has always been even. It's just that you're being delusional to think that you are the king of the hill. Boomhauer. All right now. It's funny how the truth might give a person pause. It's funny how telling a person what may and may not happen and giving a person options and letting a person know that the type of energy that they're putting out there and what could happen would make a person say, stop it. Don't say that. You're hurting my feelings. You're starting to make me feel like I did something wrong. Oops. Is that conviction? Are you starting to feel like some of this stuff might hit home? Are you getting a little paranoid? Is that why you're not asleep? Is that why you're here very faithfully trying to make sure nothing gets past you so that you can try to prepare and protect yourself and pray against it? Is that why you're going so hard about trying to wear white very often? Is that why you're so careful about the color of the clothes that you put on? Because you tell yourself, based on the power of whatever deity or orisha that you tried to send towards someone negatively, you're going to be protected against whatever force you send out. Is that why you're over here talking about I'm supposed to be who I'm supposed to be? I'm posting me. You see? It looks a little bit like paranoia when I hear and I see and I read some of the things that my haters do. And it's wonderful. It's wonderful, collective. I hope that you're having a laugh of your life. Don't take it so serious, okay? They're hoping to bring your vibration down. They're hoping to kill your vibe. They're hoping to make you feel paranoid of them, but it's them that should feel paranoid of them. Because they know what type of energy they put out, so they should be very aware of what energy could come back. You see, collective, like I said, we're rubber, they're glue. So it worries them when you're not all rainbows and unicorns and buttercups and things of that nature. They told themselves that you would always give them a great message. They could go to you, the same person they wanted to hurt, the same person they wanted to bask in negativity. They want the same person to lift them up, to make them feel good about doing them so dirty. I find that mentally ill. You want the same person you speak death into to give you life by making you feel better about yourself about doing them dirty. Interesting. Very, very interesting. And you wonder why the people around you kind of treat you a little weird is because they know that you're willing to do such things. Like if you go at your own family member like that, like who the hell am I? So I won't embrace you wholly, but I'll take advantage of the fact that you deal in such lowness. Because I can benefit from it. But I'm always going to keep an eye on you because if you can do that to that person who's harmless, imagine what you can do to me who'd go upside your head. And vice versa. See, people get so comfortable within their small little yes man groups that they don't understand that they have to go outside of that and operate in the world. And the world can give them just about whatever they want to give them, much like they've given the world. They don't like that. They don't like that the same things can be done to them that they've done to people because they told themselves that they are above it all. But only because they keep opening up these portals, they keep opening up this thing, they keep opening up their mouths, they don't know that they've made themselves more susceptible to their same exact thing than they protected themselves from. You live by it, you very well might expire by it. And this is why it's important. You be careful what you put your hands on, what you put your hands to. Imagine you raise dogs for a living and then a dog mauls you. Damn, the irony. Imagine you been using your job on the trash truck for so long to bust people up and get people missing that one day that trash truck flips over and now you're gone. The very thing that gave you the bread and butter has now been the cause of your demise. Freak accidents do happen all the time. We see them all the time on the news, on YouTube. Yeah, we do. Imagine you put somebody on a slippery slope and then you come out and you bust your ass on some oil that you spilled in the kitchen. And then the place catches on fire and your phone that you just put a hit out on is left in the windowsill across the room and you can't get past the fire to get to that phone. But you set a slippery slope for someone else and you slipped in grease. Or you go into your favorite restaurant, the same restaurant that you had someone poisoned in, and you get salmonella. And you go to the hospital and they tell you everything's fine, and then you go home and you never wake up again. But that's the energy you put out there, so you can't say anything. So you be careful trying to let your authority or your perceived authority ruin others. Because you live by it, you just might go by it. Me, myself, I think rainbows and clouds and things are very good things to live by. Because it's very hard to die by a cloud or a rainbow. It's kind of hard to die by positive affirmations and minding your business. Yeah. I think that's a peaceful way to go out. You know, getting to go up into the clouds and shit. And being able to go into the hospital, you know, with no bad disease or anything. Just getting old and just passing away, minding your business, talking to the Lord. That's the best way to go. So I'm going to live by that. I'm going to live by minding my business and keeping my hands clean. I'm going to live by taking care of all of what I got to take care of and giving you no energy. I won't even pay you dust because that would be emotion. And sometimes if you mix dust with a little bit of glitter and a little bit of dirt and some water, you can make a bit of clay. You can make some stuff out of it. So I won't give you my building materials. So yes, I'll think I'll live the way that I've been living, because if I got to go out that way, then that's perfect for me. So you just make sure whatever you're doing, you can live with it, because you just might expire by it. And that was the oracle message. Let's get into this Bible. All right. So we've got Psalms 25, which is a quick, nice little reminder just to be mindful of the things that you do, because they can be done to you. All right? All right. Neighbor, yes. Neighbor, yes. Good morning. What'd you think I was gonna say? You crack me up. All right, so 58 on the clock as we go into the Psalms. 125. They that trust in the Lord shall be as Mount Zion, which cannot be removed, but abideth forever. As the mountains are round about Jerusalem, so the Lord is round about his people, from henceforth even forever. For the rod of the wicked shall not rest upon the lot of the righteous, lest the righteous put forth their hands into iniquity. Do good, O Lord, unto those that be good, and to them that are upright in their hearts. As for such as turn aside unto their crooked ways, the Lord shall lead them forth with the workers of iniquity, but peace shall be upon Israel. Dang. I didn't even pre-read this. I only looked at the first words, and then said I was going to pick that. But this basically says exactly what I said. Be careful what you put your hands into, because you don't know the reward that comes from that. Whatever it is, whatever it shall be. Selah, so be it, so let it be. Ashe, ashe, ashe. Yes, indeedy. 125 Psalms, in case anybody needs to look their self. Okay. And I remember I did say Psalms 83 does fit perfectly with Psalms 106, because it gives you the tribes and then it tells you exactly what they're supposed to do. Yeah. There's a reason why there's a race war. There's a reason why. That was promised to us. It was promised that we were going to get gaslighted out of existence by ourselves, by our very words, by our very children, by our very generations, by our very lands, because we forgot, or we refused to unite as the 12 houses of Judah. Instead, we want to be part of whatever these scientists came and named these lands. We keep wanting to be separate by that way, but not put into paths and columns of our properties as the 12 tribes of Judah does describe. We don't come into agreement with that, yet we come into agreement with this place, that place, and no place at all. We give these places our own names, thinking that we are owners and this is our land, this is his land. We are only here for a time being. Like we say, we are having a human experience. We are celestial beings having a human experience right now. However, our species is a bit young. 2000, I think. A little, 2000, something like that. So we're growing. We're getting strong and growing. We are Flintstone kids. Somebody needs vitamins. They're missing vitamins. Someone needs to take vitamins. Someone's vitamin deficient. Someone doesn't do well with vitamins. Someone isn't absorbing. Someone has low vitamin absorption. This is why they look hairless. They're starting to look like a chihuahua. Eyebrows, eyelashes, hair, everything when it comes to follicles is thinning. Someone has low vitamin absorption. They may want to take a panel or something like that, go to the doctors. It's something with low vitamin absorption. The reason why you would have no eyelashes, eyebrows, that sort of thing, this is the reason why a person would become naturally bald, like body bald. It's because they have low vitamin absorption. Strawberries makes this vitamin. I don't know why I can't. Botin, Botin, Botin. Yeah. Someone's not, whatever they're eating, one, they're not eating very vitamin dense things. They're not eating vitamin dense things, so that's that part. They may, have illicit things going through their system, or they may have alcohol, which definitely will drain you of antivitamins. And then they're not eating a lot of vitamin rich foods. And then their body has very low absorption. So no matter what diet or whatever they keep trying to do, it's not going to work. Even if they get surgery, the surgery is not going to end up, they're not going to heal in a way, or it's not going to sustain, because they haven't taken care of their inside. They're too worried about the outside. There isn't enough makeup, there isn't enough surgery, there isn't enough girdles, binders, body shapers to keep you intact when you get like that, because you've forsaken yourself and you've told yourself that you would depend on all the inventions of man. But God invented you. Why can't you go back to the place of originality who made you, to ask him to help you and send you the right things, the right resources? It's because you probably know that your words would fall on deaf ears, because you've asked God for some silly shit in the past. Excuse my language. I digress. Anyway, on a lighter note, let's start the tarot. And it is 1:04 on the dot when I'm starting here now. Let's see where we're going. I have Astro Matrix this morning, so let's see where we are as far as the zodiacs are concerned. Que pasa? Que pasa? Now is August the 19th. So we're in cusper season right now. We are in Leo Virgo territory now. That's when the lion meets the doctor. So that's got to be interesting. You have an aggressive doctor. You have a doctor that shreds things when he's not in his office. Somebody has a doctor that's not who they think they are. Somebody is a doctor or somebody works in the medical field, and you know the oath you take for agape care, the oath you take to save people no matter what, this oath you take to retain humanity and to maintain life force and life quality. Well, somebody doesn't give a shit about that when they clock out. Actually, they intend to do the opposite. When they're not at work, actually, when they are at work, life doesn't matter much then either, but they have to put on a good front. Either way, this person, when they clock out, they're certainly Dr. Doom, whether they're a doctor or not. Okay, so we've got 3 in the Empress area, so we're going to go with, where did we start? We started with Aries. Aries, so certainly we don't want to do that now, do we? What else is in the 3rd month? Taurus? Taurus wants to start, so Taurus wants to be in this reading. Taurus is alive. Taurus is here. Taurus is awake. Taurus is watching. Okay. So you want to bully the reading because you need someone's attention. Someone wants attention really, really bad. That part. Empress, health, wealth, and abundance. Looking round and beautiful. Wonderful. You've got the heart sitting here chilling because it's, it's done its job. You're good. All right. You're spreading love to the environment because you've done the job. All right. You're loving yourself. You're sitting there with a big old heart. There you are. Beautiful. You've got your heart out in the open because why should you be so cold? You're using your heart. You're using your heart. You're using your passion. Not your heart. You're using your passion for your pentacles. See, the best money is honest money. The money that can't be deterred. The best way to get your life's purpose is to follow your passions. That way, you're not feeling like it's doing work. You're feeling like it's fun. It's the call of your life. It's what your second breath is. It's like breathing. You get up, you do it, no problem. It's okay. So someone's using their passion to maintain pinnacles. Someone doing very well. Look at the garden grow. Look at that. Overseeing and gardening. Sometimes you do have to make sure you pass through your harvest to see if there are any things eating on them, any pests. Make sure that nothing's been stolen, the crops haven't been destroyed, making sure things are intact. So sometimes you've got to do your legwork. You've got to go through the papers. You've got to do the motions. You can't do everything online and think that you can trust the person on the other side of the screen. Sometimes you need to go and take a gander and do some business in person so that you can see how it's being done and how you don't want it to be done, and see if you need to actually retract yourself from said business. So somebody has to do their due diligence. They have to go out and they have to see. And they're under judgment just as well as other people are judging them as they enter and exit out of these places. So be mindful, collective. You are always under constant judgment because you are the one that knows better. And they've sent people, no doubt, to keep trying to judge you because they've got to find something wrong and fallible about you because they operate under the rule of double standard. See, where you can't afford to let your standard fall, they've gone down to hell. The bar has been passed. They've been under it for so long that they don't even know what it looks like to be up there. But the thing about it is they'd rather you come down than for them to come up. So this is where the judgment is based. The judgment is based off of your perfection and their not having none. See, you can't be caught out of order, but they've never been in order ever at all. And it's very unfair that they want you to act inhumane. You can't come out of the bag. You can't get angry. You can't do anything lest you be judged. Yet they operate in the lowest of the lows. They stay angry. They be angry. They do everything under the sun that they shouldn't do. But there's no judgment being handed down to them like it's being handed down to you. And it seems a bit unfair, at least for now. Oh, but when she coming around the mountain, here she comes. Here she coming around the mountain, there she comes. Is she coming around the mountain? She'll be coming around the mountain. She'll be coming around the mountain. Here she comes. And that's karma. She's ponying up on you. She's about to ride down. And just like Josie Wales spits on that dog right before he takes out all the bandits. Wah-ha! That's a Western. Now that's a real Western. Josie Wales. Yeah. My boy Clint Eastwood. Back in his heyday. Way back before Gran Torino ever came around. He's been taking names and kicking butt. Poor dog. That's how he used to do it. So somebody's about to get some old school reckoning. From a new school way. See, things ain't how they used to be back in your day. Things are new now. They have new technology. They have ways in which to pick up on things. So somebody's about to get some old school reckoning because they keep messing around in this new school shit. All right now. Just like Will Smith said in Men in Black, he wanted the new hotness, not the old school. So, now that we're here, are you happy with what you built? Can you live with it? I mean, you said it out loud, and then you put some of it on paper. Can you live with it? All right now, so we have Taurus with the Empress, the Seven of Pentacles, and the Judgment. We have 3720. We have 30. That's divine intervention. So, as these spiritual coins are getting, as you are getting blessings built up in the ethers, and they're about to certainly be passed down from the 5D to the 3D to you, they've got to make sure that everything is clear and you have no karmics, because guess what? God will hold up your blessing as long as he thinks a karmic might get access to it. Not to punish you, but to keep you from whatever the karmic is willing to do to steal from you. Sometimes he wants to make sure that the place is clear, that he's not taking out a person that could have possibly repented, that he's not taking out a person that could have possibly cleaned their hands. So he's given them every opportunity to clean their hands just in case they do want to step into their purpose and claim their blessing. But when time runs out, time does run out. And you've got to pay the piper. So while the collective is going through their own sort of judgment for keeping their head above water, you damn sure better be ready for the judgment to come down, since you've been keeping your standards in hell. All right, so that's been the Taurus reading, which is divine intervention. 3 plus 7 is 10, plus 20 is 30, which brings that to the 3, which is divine intervention. The collective, you're being protected from the fools, but the fools are being protected for themselves for the time being until they take heed to what's really about to shake down, because they don't really believe that fat meat is greasy. They don't understand that these little sicknesses, these little hospital visits, these little fender benders, these little things that they've been allowed to live through were the warnings. Things are about to get a little bit active. It's getting sticky. It's getting sticky. Wait until you start getting results and things. those letters with those big red notices and stamps on them. Wait until you start hearing big machinery outside your door. Wait until you start hearing all those sirens. Wait until that last ambulance visit. Wait until lights out. Because you didn't take heed to the small warnings and the small mercies. No. You didn't even pray and thank God for the little mercies that you got. You told yourself you deserved them and you kept on your way. You never even got on your knees, not once thanking him for allowing you to see another day, even though you didn't want someone to see another moment. You're going to pay for that. You're definitely going to pay for that. I was shuffling for the last few minutes, and the Empress came right back out in Gemini. The Star came out after the Empress, and the Five of Pentacles came out right after the Star. We're in Gemini. What's going on? So we got the 3, which is the Empress. We got her again. Then we've got the Star, main character energy. Then we've got 5 of Pentacles. All right, what's going on? Oh. So we got here in Gemini. We might have more than one Gemini, or somebody's trying to mix up the signals. Remember, take what resonates, sun, moon, rising. So in Gemini, we have the Empress coming out here. Feminine energy, 3. We have the Star, which makes that a 20 in Aquarius, right? And then we have the 5 of Pentacles, which is Taurus. So we have Gemini in Taurus, feminine energy, and Aquarius. Let me read this 5 of Pentacles when it comes to this, because this is a funny way, a funny combination. Navigating isolation, overcoming adversity. So, collective. Someone's coming out of the dark, coming out of the rain, coming out of the forest. And guess who's fast approaching the tree line? Funny thing about tree lines. There was a picture that my mom had. There was like a big portrait. It wasn't a portrait. It was a painting. And she used to keep it in her room, and I used to stare at it. And it had a tree line. And if you stared at it long enough, it had like a 3D effect, but it made it look like you were going down a lane, going into a forest. And that's exactly what this, and I actually at some point I wanted that picture, but now I'm thinking I shouldn't have it. It might have a curse on it. Don't know. Don't want nothing from that house. I don't know. I don't know what might happen there. So what's happening is, you're coming out of the dark and somebody is certainly slowly descending in. It's just that they're unaware of what's happening. They don't know. It's happening very, very subtly for them, because God knows they're a coward. That's crazy, because they went hard when it came to you. When it came to putting you in the dark, they went hard. They didn't want any gradual anything. They wanted just a sudden dump. They wanted you to be caught off unawares, and they wanted you to be suddenly blinded. But when it comes to them, they are asking for mercy. They're saying, don't let it be. And I'm like, what? But you were going so hard in the paint when you were building your case, miss. Sir? When it was purported that you were supposed to be the victim, even though you were victimizing someone, it was all good. It was all fun and games. But now that the thing has turned into your direction, you want mercy. You want grace. You want time to be given. You want to hold off on some stuff. Certainly, you've gone cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo. You're one train short of a locomotive now, aren't you? Maybe 2. Thomas the Train. Major pain. So, Gemini, it looks like you have done it. You have survived. You have passionately received your star, taken your star, retained your star, maintained your star, and you are certainly coming out of the cold. You're coming out of isolation. You're overcoming adversity by way of your passion. And that if that is not inspiration, I don't know what is. You didn't lie, you didn't steal, you didn't cheat, you didn't even maim. You didn't defame anyone. You didn't do anything. You told the truth. You took up for yourself. And now you rise. Still you rise. That is awesome. Congratulations. All right, Gemini, on the North Node, this is you. 25, which is a 7, which is a complete cycle. You have maintained your own. You have kept your hands clean. You have kept your heart light. You have kept your mind on the prize. Certainly, you do deserve everything that you've worked for. You worked for it. You didn't take it. You didn't steal it. You didn't lie your way into it. You have been at work the whole entire time. This is what people forgot, that you always did your work. And this is what made them jealous in the first place. They had nowhere to go until their coins. They had nowhere to apply to. They didn't know where to go. They had no skills. And that was the first offense that you made, was showing them what they could do. And instead of them going and doing it, they just wanted to tear you down. And that was the first time. That was the first inkling. And from there, they just continue to build upon their descent. While you maintain the same exact thing that got them so upset is the same exact thing that's going to get them in trouble, because you still are the same person. I like the way another reader said it the other day. I think it was Z. She said, "How do you dogpile Tinkerbell?" That's like what the uncles tried to did to Casper. Remember Casper the Friendly Ghost, when all his uncles just thought he was just too nice to be a ghost, and then they didn't want him to be a ghost at all, and they tried to take away his... But he's a ghost. He's still a ghost, even though he's friendly. Does he have to be nasty? Some people just don't like the way people receive you, because they don't receive them in the same way, so they had to destroy you. Because they haven't done life the way you've done life, so they know life won't receive them in the end the way life has received you. But you haven't done the same thing. So stop comparing. Your blessing is not going to be their blessing. Everybody was supposed to get their own blessing. Even if it looks the same, it still isn't. It's not going to hit. So I'm glad you kept your head down. I'm glad you stayed consistent. Because these people, they're all going to get it. In the end, they're going to get it. Yep, they're going to get it. They're all going to get it. They're all going to get in trouble. Uh-oh, Spaghetti-O. I'm sure you remember that. That's the Spaghetti Witch. You watch out with people and sauces. Matter of fact, learn how to cook your own sauces so that you can know the difference, because you ain't supposed to be eating from everybody's. You understand? And yeah, the first thing a person to do when they can't defeat you is try to join you in meals. They want to break bread and see how they make you get an eating disorder, digest in the wrong way, maybe get food poisoning, something like that. When they cannot beat you, they will try to join you in the most clandestine ways. Okay? So, be mindful and protect your blessing. Protect yourself. Don't return back to places where you know those people don't like you, even if you have an inkling. And actually talk to them. And if they say something, blink, wink, or think the wrong goddamn way, then that's your clue to go on and pack it up and roll on out, okay? Don't return back to places where you weren't given reciprocity, where you weren't treated with respect, where you were more valuable to that place than they were to you. Don't do it. Don't try it. Don't even. There's no validation to be gotten there. Whatever you left there, leave it so. It's going to be okay. God will replace with better. That's what I had to learn. If you lose something, Be okay with it because you might get something much better. All right, that was the Gemini reading. That was 25, which ended in 7. That's a complete cycle. Gemini, Aquarius, and Taurus. Grounded, very unique, and very communicative. I should say expressive. All right, here you go, Cancer. What's up? Good morning, my crybaby bullies. You always get things to pop one way or another, but just make sure you can live with it. All right, so we've got the Six of Cups in Scorpio. We've got the Death and Transformation in Scorpio. We got double Scorpio out here. What's going on with the sand crab? Okay, somebody's a dry. Somebody's emotionally dry. They're going through an emotional drought. We've got two Scorpios here, Death and Transformation. We've got the Ten of Swords here as well. We've got the Ten of Swords, not the Ten of Wands. Six of Cups. Let's read. Let's find out. 1, 2, 3. That's the commercial where the owl bites the Tootsie Roll Pop because he can't stand the suspense of waiting. Someone is very impatient, very impulsive. Six of Cups. Past an archive of wisdom, intelligence, and happiness to connect. Past is an archive of wisdom, intelligence, and happiness to connect with your inner self and ensure a happier present. Sun in Scorpio. Masculine in Scorpio, because Sun is masculine or business. Being generous and feeling nostalgic. So there's a masculine and Scorpio energy. We got double Scorpio, so there's a lot of intensity. It's very intense. Scorpio is intense, and they say they're nasty. When it comes to being nasty, they're nasty in temper, they're nasty in sexuality. So it could be really nasty when it comes to a double Scorpio, when it comes to give and take, and this is death, and then it has the Ten of Swords. So once I read this Ten of Swords, I could make it neat. What the world? Finding, healing, regenerating yourself, feeling like a failure, overcoming pain. There's a mosquito I keep seeing. Okay, Six of Cups, Death and Transformation, Ten of Swords. So, being generous, feeling nostalgic, leaving home, resolving childhood issues. Then we've got the Death and Transformation, and then we've got the Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords is saying finding, healing, regenerating yourself, feeling like a failure, overcoming pain. So somebody's got a lot of childhood issues that they have to change toward, that they have to transfer from. Someone's going to do the work. Someone's going to go in and do the shadow work and try to find out why they are such a sucky human being at adulthood as opposed to how they were in childhood. Someone had a horrible childhood. Maybe they had to survive. Maybe they had to support brothers and sisters by any ways possible. So that meant that they jumped off the porch and maybe got into some things they shouldn't have gotten into. Now that they're an adult, what are they going to do? Because you can't live your whole life the same way, especially if you haven't been good at it, especially if you ended up going in and out of jail. Hey, if you're not good at it, you end up getting caught a lot, and you end up with a big record. And some people get caught on purpose for whatever reason they do. Either way, somebody has to find another mode in which to live, especially if they want to enter into the collective. They want to be forgiven. They want to clean up their act. They want to do the shadow work. They're going to have to find another way. They're going to have to die unto themselves, into their old ways. They're going to have to put a death to their old selves in order to rehash and regenerate anew. They're going to have to overcome a lot of things that have happened in their lives. A lot of traumatizations, a lot of things that they have accepted, a lot of things they're going to have to work through so that they don't have to take these things into old age or build a family that the family is going to have to survive from. So someone's going through a personal death and transformation, ego death, a narcissistic collapse. Can look like anything from getting physically sick to mentally sick. Someone's checked out for a bit. They've mentally checked out. They're in a sunken place. They look a bit confused. They might look a little bit dry. They might even look a little thirsty. They may even look a little sunken in, not knowing exactly what to eat, what to do. This person is very confused. They're in a state of confusion. They don't know what to eat, what to drink. They don't know what to make it right. They don't know what to do to make it right. They just want to feel good for at least 5 minutes, and they don't have the answer. They're looking for it, but they don't know what they're going through is a narcissistic collapse. That is the collapse of every layer of the ego that you've built to stand upon. It has to be broken down just like the layers of an onion in order to get to the heart, the flowered, hardened heart that's within inside. This is the only way. They have to have their heart exposed in order for God to come in and do the work. Like a jackhammer, this trying to get through. It's almost like when you go to the dentist and they're trying to bang through that calcium that calcifies around somebody's tooth that doesn't, do a lot of toothbrushing. They actually chisel that stuff out. That yellow stuff that you see around some people's teeth, as embarrassing as it is, they actually have to go to the dentist, and the dentist actually has to chisel it, like bang on it with a little hammer and get that from around their teeth. That's how bad they've let their hygiene go. Somebody has to die to all that. They have to actually start washing their tail, cleaning their house, brushing their teeth. Like, they have to get along with the get along. They have to live. Somebody has been living a life of dying. Now they have to actually live a life of living. And that's going to be a hard adjustment for a person who's gotten accustomed to living lowly like that. There are some people that got on the other side of the age of 50 and they're just learning how to properly clean themselves. How to properly clean up after themselves. So somebody is definitely doing a death and a transformation, and it could quite possibly be the opposite. Somebody used to take really good care of themselves, and now that they've had an ego fall, they don't look quite the same. It's like they've given up. Since they can't beat them, even though they feel as though they've joined them, no, they've declined way beyond what that person ever was. So now they look like exactly what they talk about. And it's a shame. But some people have to go through that in order to understand how much energy and how much negativity they've put out. Some people end up in the very same places that they've put people in. Some people end up being the very example that they've explained to so many other people. Imagine you 20 years ago calling somebody a vagabond or calling somebody a liar or an imposter, and then 20 years from now they actually look the part. God does have a sense of humor. So this was the Cancer reading, okay? So somebody's starting to look like what they be talking about. Be careful of the words that you put out into the universe. All right, Sun, Moon, Rising. We've got double Scorpio and one Gemini in this Cancer reading. 6 plus 13. That is 19. Yeah, that is 19. Plus 10. That is 29. That is 11. Intuitively, we all know intuitively that person knows exactly what's going on. And that's what's causing the state of confusion, because that's the only thing that they've got to go on. That's the only thing that's not confusing, is that they are going through karma. All right, there we are. There you go. That was 6 plus 13, 19 plus 10, 29. That is 11. Intuitively, we all know. All right, let me get out of that energy. It was a little bit funky. All right, Leo, Leo, Leo. Wow, there, that energy was funky. Maybe somebody's walking around in shoes that no longer support their arches or something like that. Yeah, somebody's probably got foot fungus or something like that. They weren't able to change shoes. They weren't able to get a new pair of shoes, something like that. They need their feet washed, something. And you know, when you don't wash your feet, that also can cause feet soreness too. So be careful of your hygiene. Okay, so we got King of Swords and the Ten of Pentacles. We got Ace of Swords. This looks nice and clean. This looks icy, okay? Leo, you got some iciness going on. I don't know what it is about you, but I like this. You fresh and you clean, ain't you? You sharp as a tack, ain't you? Yeah. You all right. You doing good. You got public recognition. You know, your style is on point, and you've got mental clarity. You're crowning. You're protecting your crown. You're wearing your thing right. You know, you got wit about you. You got them comebacks. You know what to say. You know what not to say. You give the right looks at the right time. You know how to cut a person off without saying a damn thing. You're doing very well. Intuitively, you know. And people are talking about this. They like, you see how that man, you see how he walk? Man, that man walk like he got some, yeah. You see how she walk? She walk like she, yeah. They talking about y'all, collective. Everybody's talking about what's going on about you. They talking about how you look. They talking about how you dress. They talking about how you smell when you walk by. They talking about how you talk. They talking about how you sound. They want to see more. And they kind of like how your haters react when they're talking about you. And they're taking those notes too. They like, why they ask when every time I say something good about them? Why they try to keep changing the subject? Why they don't like it when I bring them up? Ooh. The people are taking notes. And they're all talking about it. Okay, Leo, you got a big presence out here. You the big cat. If I were the king of the forest, I was hot. And I would, That was from the Wizard of Oz. But yeah, you big cat out here. You big cat, and you know how to line stroll. You go real easy, you know, just in case he got to get on the crouch and hunt. Or just in case a nice feline pack is over there and they might want to go catch him a prey. Yeah, like that. So we got Leo energy, even if it's a man or a woman. Leo energy is something about presence. It's about showing up. The birthstone for a Leo looks a lot like a Gemini's birthstone, but it's a light color. It's a period dot. It's the one with the DT at the end, okay? The period dot. So this Leo energy is showing up proudly, bearing its mane. However, you know what I'm saying? Just healthy, carefree in its actual essence. You know how a lion does in its own environment. It thrives. So right now you're thriving, collective, and everybody's walking and talking about you. Even when they try to take everything from you, you still don't look like what you've been through. And everybody's talking about it because a lot of them know what they took you through, what they tried to pass you through, and a lot of them know what they did to you. And despite all that, you keep showing up clear and concise and precise. And you know the words to say and the looks to give and who to say hi to and who to look at. Like, you must have lost your effing mind if you think I'm going to say hello to you. They taking note. They like, I think you know. I think you know. They don't speak to me. Yeah. It wasn't as hidden as you thought it was. See, those reactions, they were recorded in the memory. Even when you thought whatever you did went over and nobody noticed, somebody took note. And this is what everybody's talking about. Some people didn't know what you were going through. All they know is that everybody kept talking about you. They knew not to talk to them, but they just talked around them. But now everybody's talking. They're talking about what happened, the fallout, the things that they did see done, the things that they had a suspicion about. The people who they saw together who would have never been together had they not been around you. See, people talk. People talking. And they talking about you, Leo. And the more talk is like a snowball effect. is getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot, punch. Let the beat build. You understand? And you just keep clear. You keep doing what you're doing. You keep everything clear. Keep your environment clear. Don't invite nobody back in that you already done told they can go on and kiss the wrist that you don't twist. You understand what I'm saying? All right, so you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, people know. People know. A lot of people know what people tried to do to you. A lot of people were in on it. And they're all talking about how you survived it and how you don't look like what they tried to put you through. Some people are nervous. Some people think it's just it's crazy. Like, what? How in the world did they survive that? Some people actually are sending people to go look. Like, look, they don't look. It didn't do nothing. It didn't do nothing. Some people are looking and they pissed because they're like, damn, it didn't do nothing. Absolutely nothing. Somebody's trying to get closer to see if they can really make some stuff happen. And somebody's tapping them on the shoulder like, I don't think you should do that. Like, if they survived all that, man, I don't know. I don't think you should go any closer than that. Either way, you keep your wits about you. You keep your head on the swivel. And you keep your protection up. Because there's big, big, big talk. Because you the big, 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 big cat. And you know, there's big game in hunting big cats. So you're a prize either way. Just make sure you take pride in your way. All right, all right, all right. Take what resonates, Sun, Moon, Rising. This came out in the Virgo, and this is Leo reading. Just so happened we're going into Leo, Virgo, Cusper, so this was perfect, okay? All right, so be mindful. You don't have to be a Leo or a Virgo, but this is in the personality and in the traits. Take what resonates and leave the rest behind. Don't force it. All right, let's go, Virgo. Let's get you out of here. We started off in Taurus, so we're going to end up in Aries. All right. Virgo, 6 of Pentacles, equal give and take to the universe. And then we have the 5 of Swords. All right, and then we have the 9 of Cups. So somebody is definitely standing here like this. They're guarded. Okay, so we've got the 5 of Swords. Let's read what the 5 of Swords mean. 5 of Swords is there's no doubt about you being highly ambitious, but remember not to hurt others just because you want to win. Okay, so somebody is being relentless about winning these pentacles or keeping these pentacles. That's Virgo. So equal give and take to the universe. So somebody's starting to realize that whatever the energy they're putting out, now they're starting to receive, whether it be really big, whether it be really small. So little by little, somebody's things are getting snatched back by the universe and being redistributed amongst the collective. Okay, so yeah, somebody's resilience, somebody's win at all costs is starting to cost them. And you know, when you hold on too tight to things, it's like sand in the hand. It will start escaping through the cracks. So somebody's attempting to guard some money that it isn't even theirs. That's that male energy that acts like a woman. Because they like to put their hands on things that are not theirs. And then they like to hold on to them like a little bee. I didn't say the whole word. I just said the bee. Yeah. So this is a person that acts like a bee. All right. And I said it again. That I just wanted to make sure that you got the gist of what I'm saying. Okay. Yeah. So somebody's very basically relentless and they're like a pit bull. They won't let it go. And they're trying to hold on to something that isn't even theirs. And what's happening is it's slowly but surely being lost. And they're trying to put on a good fight. They're putting up their last stance because it's certainly slipping through their fingers slowly but surely. They're losing momentum. They're losing grasp. They're even losing grasp of reality, their control, their authority. Whatever they thought they had, it was an illusion. And they're slowly losing their footing. Okay? All right. They're falling to pieces. They're falling to pieces. Oh. That note was a down one, huh? Yeah, I heard it. I heard it. I'm very truthful with myself, if not anything else. All right. So 6 plus 5. That is 11 plus 9. That brings us to a 20, which is 2. Someone's going to have to try to balance some things out at the end of the day because surely they've been knocked off the pedestal that they stole. All right, that was them. And that's a Virgo reading with Taurus, Aquarius, and Pisces. So they have all the elements, yet still they haven't worked them to their favor. They've worked them to steal instead of using the elements to get to use their own purpose to help themselves. So you mean to tell me somebody had the tools that they needed to sustain themselves, but instead of just sustain themselves, they decided to steal from other people because that was the grand idea? Oh boy. That's why they say make sure whatever you do, you can live with it. 1724, is that somebody's address? Somebody lives at 1724. Okay, and that was a 2. The 6 plus the 5 plus the 9, that came out as a 20, which turns into a 2, which equal balance. Something needs to be brought into balance. The universe needs to be brought into balance. Okay, that was the Virgo reading. All right, Libra. Why did it go like that? All right, Libra. Hanged One, 12, 8 of Pentacles, the Tower, 16. So someone's in stagnation. Someone's stopped. Someone's work has gotten stopped. Whatever they were doing to try to master something, something has definitely been interrupted, and now we have a Tower moment. Something got stopped, stagnated, deadline, bank account frozen, check stop, communication stopped happening, phone interrupted, intercepted, something like that. Something got intercepted, stopped, or stagnated. Bottleneck, something got cut off. Access, what? Access, authority, something got stopped. Something got stood in the way in, right? And it's something about the pentacles, the work, whatever was getting mastered. Somebody was trying to master control, authority, access, something like that, right? Whatever it was, it got stopped. And now there's a Tower moment. Someone's being tossed out on their tail, being packed up, being given their walking papers, getting the pink slip. Somebody's being stopped. Getting their access revoked, getting their card cut, getting their card collected, being escorted off of premises, being kicked out, exiled, isolated, whatever that is. This is a Tower. Stopped. Not going any further. Tossed. 12 plus 16, that's 28 plus an 8. That's 36. Someone 36 or 63. Those are the ages. Someone 36 or 63. That's a 9, which is divine. Something's happening in September. September, someone's going to get a big old result. Tower. All right, let me get out of there. So that's that. That was 36, and 36 turns into a 9. That's praying, that's divine, and that's also September. So somebody better stay in prayer. Somebody prayed on somebody, and it didn't go well. All right, there you go. That was the Libra. That was fast, wasn't it? I wanted to get out of there. Hangman is Neptune. The 8 of Pentacles was Virgo. Alright. So now we got the King of Wands right here. And now for Scorpio, we got the Magician. And we've got the 9 of Swords. What's going on, honey? It's a 10. And it's wish fulfillment. But I know that the wish fulfillment wasn't to be sitting there sleepless and having insomnia. So there was a King of Wands that had a bad manifestation, and now whatever that manifestation is has them distraught. King of Wands, someone passionately manifested something, and yeah, their health doesn't look good. This person looks like they're like really shrinking under all of these clothes, and they're not doing well nutritionally, healthily, or they're not getting any rest. They're not restoring. Somebody's having a hard time healing from whatever they manifested. I'm not even going to go into details. If this person is around, they know exactly what they're healing from, what they can't heal from, why they're not feeling good, why they can't sleep at night, why things aren't comfortable, why things aren't the way that they used to be. Somebody knows why they are not in the life of luxury or comfort that they used to be in or perceive themselves to be in. Okay? Someone knows why they can't enjoy whatever it is, whatever life that they built for themselves. They know why they can't enjoy it right now. They know the answer. So this is the wish fulfillment for somebody, or else I don't think they wished it like that, but this is the result they got. The one, the nine, the 1 to 9, Taurus, Gemini, King of Wands, water and earth. No, that's air and hold up. That's air. If water's down, that's air. And earth has to point up, right? I'm looking. Nope. That's air and fire. So somebody's burning themselves up in this. Somebody might even have a fever. Go to the doctors and make sure that's not like walking pneumonia, or you're not walking around with some type of something in your system and you don't know. Somebody might have a breathing problem or something like that. Something with the upper chest, or something with having like a fever or something feverish. Maybe make sure you're not getting bitten by all these bugs. I do know that the bugs do give, transport diseases as well, because they're sucking on blood, okay? So be mindful of any, temperature changes, going back and forth from the air conditioning to the heat a lot. That can also cause walking pneumonia, especially when it comes to you just having your hair washed, or going into pools, or getting your body submerged in water and going through extreme temperature changes. So be mindful. Somebody has manifested a lot of stuff in their life that they didn't ask for. They were asking it for the collective, not them. They're surprised that it's their health that's failing. I don't know why, but okay. All right, so that's a 9 and a 1, which is 10, which is wish fulfillment. Hey, we said those return to senders were going to be a Return to sender, return to sender, give dark workers something to do. Return to sender, return to sender, the collective is tired of you. Wish fulfillment, show right up, and I'm just shuffling. All right, Sagittarius, what it is. Jeezy know how to handle his. Get your mind right. Let me talk to him. 10, Wheel of Fortune, 3 of Swords in Libra, 10 of Cups in Pisces. 10, Wheel of Fortune in Jupiter, Saturn, 3 of Swords in Libra, Feminine, 10 of Cups in Pisces. This is the Sagittarius reading. Wheel of Fortune, meaning the wheel is definitely turning in somebody's. It's my party and I cry if I want to, cry if I want to, cry if I want to. You would cry too if it happened to you. So somebody's a crybaby, fart face. Crybaby, ooh. The wheel is not turning in their favor. You are the weakest link. All right? And they found out, and that's the wish fulfillment at the end of the day. 2 wish fulfillments. 2 wish fulfillments back to back. Maybe we collective didn't wish them bad. But what we did do is do a return to sender. And we did get it like almost immediately. Seems like I just sung Return to Sender. And the very next pull was Gotcha, bitch. So Sagittarius, I don't know who the Sagittarius is. They did receive whatever they wanted back in tenfold. And that is the wish fulfillment when you return to sender. Whoever this main person was in Sagittarius, Libra, and Pisces, these were the 3 main ones. Sagittarius, Libra, and Pisces. That return to hinder hit them so damn bad that the wheel had to turn. Because, collective, we got hearts. We don't like to see nobody doing bad too much. So the wheel turns, so we ain't got to look at that shit too long. I'm just telling you. Out of sight, out of mind. Ain't that what they said? Yeah, it works both ways. You don't need to see that karma. You need to keep that out of your mind. They honestly don't want you to see them going through the karma, even though sometimes God has a way of showing you an inkling of what's going on. Just be sure you don't sit there and you don't study long. You know exactly what not to put your hands in by example. So you keep it pushing, okay? So yeah, right after that return to sender, somebody got it in tenfold. And look at you here going towards your wish fulfillment. And look at what they got to go through. They were so busy trying to accelerate the turning of the wheel that they forgot that they were part of the very fabric of which the wheel turns, and who would have to actually sit at the wheel on the other side as you got the good part. It's funny how people forget that they in the same world that you in and still got to exist in it. Weird, isn't it? Just weird. All right, so let's put the numbers together. We've got 10, 10, and a 3. We've got 23, which brings it to a 5. Unexpected changes, except they're expecting it. And we're just so happy and so blessed with whatever God gives us. Because even when he gives us adversity, we turn lemons into lemonade because we still got some sugar. All right now. Yeah. That was the Sagittarius reading. Sun, Moon, Rising. We have Jupiter, Libra, Aquarius, and that was the Sagittarius reading. As the world turns, these are the days of our lives. Dun, 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 dun. That shit was so damn haunting. Every time you heard that thing about to come on, you knew your mama was about to send you to do every damn thing in the book but be in her face. Go turn off the lights. Go turn on the lights. Go get me something to drink. Go to the store for me. Go get me the remote control. Go get my slippers. Bring me some eggs. Run to the corner store. Bring me my pocketbook. Damn. Get the hell up, lady. And God forbid you had a father that did that. That man damn near had you go to the corner and buy crack for him so he can watch Victor get down and lay his pimp down. Damn it, Jim. He would actually write you a note. My daddy said, just give me the stuff. It's not for me. P.S. I want my change. Remember the days when your dad and your mom could just send you to the store to buy shit you ain't had no business buying, but as long as they wrote you a note, the storekeeper would just give it to you. Those were the days. Oh, Archie, I love you, Archie. Man, we were some tough ass kids. We had to be adults and stay in a child's place. No wonder we so fucking confused. Queen of Pentacles, Chariot, Lovers. Quick movement is coming for you, lovers. The Queen of Pentacles, what's going on? All right, the Queen of Pentacles is sitting there in her grandeurs, and she's finally got her hand on a pentacle. Finally, because you karmics was not going to let Queen of Pentacles have a damn thing. We're in Capricorn, by the way. All right, so Capricorn finally got their hands on something, a resource, a book, maybe a contact, maybe even $1 or $2. They got their hands on something that helps them move forward, and it's going to be quick movement because the love of their life is they're in alignment with a good union, even if it's just platonic, but they're in alignment. They're ready to meet the world. They're ready to give the world what they have because now the world is ready to receive. See, all of that damage that people tried to do to them only made them a bit stronger. So now that they're more resilient and they know what to look out for and what to watch out for, they also know how to circumvent certain things now because now it's blatantly who they need to avoid. Now they can identify who they need to avoid right away. They're not as confused as they were in the beginning, because at first it was a Mickey Mouse fight. Somebody in the dark was throwing blows and they were sitting there in the light getting the hits, and they were trying to figure out where it was coming from. That's because it was a coward move. Someone started a fight, a one-sided fight, and they didn't even invite the person that they were fighting to the fight. They just started emailing and airdropping blows because that's how much of a coward they were. They didn't even want the person to know that they were under attack. If you, this the type of person that if you walked up on them and they were talking about you, as soon as you asked, hey, who are you talking about? Oh, not you. I was talking about somebody across town. Whole time the conversation was about doing you in. And people were wondering why you were so confused, because you knew the person, people that were attacking you, but what they didn't know is that that person smiles in your face when they're around you. They never tell you about any malice. So you were the last person to find out that this person did want to be your enemy. And this is why you looked confused, and this is why everybody was okay with it, because they felt as though you knew who your enemies was. But your enemies never told them that. They didn't tell you to your face that they didn't like you. They didn't tell your enemies. They didn't tell anybody that they were using you. They didn't tell anybody that they were smiling, that they were willing to give you some of their money even, just to keep you close. So now that everybody's got up to par, yeah, you were fighting a backwards fight. You weren't even fighting. Actually, you never did raise your hand, because when you finally realized who was fighting you and why they were fighting you, it wasn't even worth fighting back, because it wasn't your battle. It was the Lord's. And they never expected you to look at it like that. Because what made you want to fight me in the first place? I was never fighting you. As a matter of fact, I picked you up from the hospital. I got you that job. I gave you that advice. I pulled you out of the lake of fire quite a couple of times. So it really behooved me that I turned around and you were my whole enemy. I fed you. I broke bread with you. I gave you money. I sat there and I cried with you. I shared things with you that I would have never shared with anybody. And then you turned around to be a whole full-fledged enemy. No wonder I was confused when I realized you were fighting against me. And then you got confused when I didn't fight against you, when I actually found out and walked away. I felt like you weren't worthy, because a worthy opponent approaches you face first. They come direct with it. And when you didn't find them worthy, they got even more upset at you not even finding them worthy. And they definitely dug down deeper into it. But now that we all know that they were cowards, and you didn't even know they were fighting you in the beginning, because that's what a coward does. They want to throw blows without you knowing, so that you can't fight back. Their main objectives was actually to tie your hands so that they can pummel you down and you'd never be able to swing, because they knew if you were to get one swing off, somebody leaving with a black eye, and that would be evidence that you did at least fight back, because they told everybody that you couldn't even fight. Can you imagine that? How you lose a Mickey Mouse fight when nobody even swung back at you? You done swung so hard, you done hit yourself like back. I seen that in the Looney Tunes a lot, so you must be loony. Somebody get in touch with Acme. They've got somebody free. So somebody's fast approaching their soul tribe, the love of their life, things that they love, more things to romanticize in life. Yeah, you thought they were goofy in love with life before. Wait till the worst happens and they actually find a good man or a good woman, or actually have that nice family that you can't stand to see them have, or actually have those nice friends that don't speak to you and don't allow you to join the group because they remember that you're a mean guy or a mean girl and you don't do good in social settings because it's all about me. Marsha, Marsha, Marsha? Why does it always have to be Marsha? So now that we're here, you know not to bring those people into your loving environments because they create so much adversity. Don't worry, they'll be trying to poke holes and trying to get back into your environment. You just be vigilant. And if anybody comes around questioning you, you know that you need to question them and question their presence in your life. So you go on, Capricorn, and you go on toward positivity because you deserve it. And the only number here that presents itself is the seven in the chariot, which means that this is a complete cycle. You're free to pursue whatever you want. Just know that you are very aware. Oh, no, it's not. It's 6, 7. No, 76. Somebody's 76 and somebody's 67. When I had the numbers covered, right. So we got Gemini and Capricorn with Cancer. Ain't that something how they always end up together? Even in succession chronologically. Right. But we're going to go 7, 6. So yeah, this is how it shows up. So you're fast moving toward things better for you, things that give you the love out of life, things that may give you the romantics of life. Everybody's not so hard pinned on a relationship that they don't have a relationship with themselves, that they don't like to take themselves out to eat, that they don't like to enjoy good scenery by themselves, that they can't enjoy it with a group or a crowd. I like going to the movies and when everybody laughs at the same time. That's nice. I like when we go to an exhibit at a restaurant or even at a museum and everybody seems to take in the same detail and seems to and ooh at the same thing. That's part of your tribe too. I like it when we all get on collectively and we all have the same thing and the same opinion and we all relatively in mind agree. I love that. That is also a part of love. See, loving yourself 100% and not by little small percentages and not by slices and loving the whole entire pie of yourself, that is indeed what you are headed towards. And indeed, you're going to find people who love everything about you too, even the bad parts. They're going to love how annoying you can be and then turn around and say something so nice and so lucrative. Somebody's going to love that. They're going to love how they don't have to agree with everything that you say, but you still like their presence. See, that's a real relationship. You don't have to agree on everything, but being without you seems like a loss. They like having a sounding board. They like having someone push back just a little bit. Not all the time just because they want to argue, but because they have somebody to do some banter with. It gets boring having somebody always say, yes, 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 you're right, I agree. I would be suspicious of that. But yeah, you go on and you get, because you deserve, okay, collective? We deserve. We deserve all the love that the world has to give to us. And we deserve to step over those bums who would keep trying to block us off in the street, okay? Let's go. 6 and 7, they make up. Wait for it. 13, a death and transformation. So all that old stuff has to fall off of you and you shed the skin of your karmics and now you go forward to go into your dharma. Enjoy. These are beautiful cards, by the way. 6 and a 7 is 13 and 7 and a 6. Somebody's trying to tap in. Go on and go and tap out. I know you got a weekend and I'ma stay out. I know you tried to tap in before when Nikki cashed out. I told you take the weekend, but now the ducked out. You tried to take my vision. You tried to take my voice. But the emperor got a decision in the bucket choice. I said in a bucking choice. I didn't want to curse that moment. But yeah, Aquarius, what it is, baby. Knight of Swords, 0 Fool. And we've got the 2 for you. All right, Knight of Swords is coming in ambitiously. Coming in with good intentions and with ambition. Someone wants to take a leap of faith and find balance. Someone wants to take a chance to sign. I said sign. Someone's getting an opportunity to sign the contract. To sign. I said to sign. Knight of Swords. Someone wants to be ambitious. They want to come in. Someone wants to take a chance. And someone wants to help you bring things into balance, collective. Be mindful. Research all words. Anything that seems to confuse you, take pause, take time. Try to do your research and comprehend, okay? Asking questions isn't a sin, okay? Anybody that tries to make you feel foolish for asking questions or taking your time should raise a red flag within you, okay? Alert, alert, warning, warning, woo, woo. All right, so, yeah, we've got Uranus, so things are going to feel a little bit strange. Remember, you're entering into a season you haven't quite been in before. Before, it seemed as though things were calm, but you were used to going through choppy waters. Now that you've actually sailed into calmer waters, you've got to see what you can do and what you encounter out there. All right? So be aware these are different avenues you've never been in before. So you're going to have to adjust, and people are going to have to adjust to you. Don't be afraid and don't be nervous when things don't go as smooth as you would like them to be. Everything's not Kool-Aid, and Kool-Aid has red dye number 2, lake, and all that other kind of stuff, okay? So just be weary of the additives and be aware and see if your system can handle them or not. Sometimes you do have to take leaps of faith and take a chance on yourself. When all hope's gone, you've got to bet on yourself. Trust your instinct and your intuition. It will guide you from the inside out and not the other way around, okay? Not the inside, not the outside in, okay? All right. So go towards your balance. There will be people to help you and use your discernment. You will know. You will intuitively know if you draw on all of the elements that you've already mastered, okay? Go forward. Look, you airbender, you. Water is very powerful. But when water and air get together, either you're going to give a good breeze, a great surf, or you could raise a whole hurricane. And that's all right. You having emotions and shit. See, a lot of people harped on you not having a full range of emotions. They didn't want you to ever get angry, especially not at them. They never wanted you to lash out, never at them. And if you did, they wanted it to be for them and for their benefit. They wanted you to remain locked inside yourself while they orchestrated how you acted or reacted. Now that you're free, now that you've reclaimed your humanism, the fact that when you hurt, you are allowed to cry out. When something's wrong, you are allowed to say something. See, they wanted you to be locked inside yourself. They wanted you to lock all evidence of their wrongdoing within inside yourself and just go about the world acting as though do, and they were going to victimize you for that. But the minute you started talking, the minute you started saying, the minute you started having emotions, the appropriate ones, they didn't know how to handle that. And then the fact that they couldn't make you go extreme, they didn't know how to handle that either, because they told themselves they weren't going to let you act reasonably. They were going to make you go crazy. And when you didn't do that, they had to go back into their trick bag. And when they got into the trick bag, they realized they got locked in the trick bag, and now they've become the trick. Isn't it ironic? All right. So that was Aquarius, and there's only one number, and that's 2. That's you and the Lord right now, because you're in divine co-creation. So go forward and do your thing. Don't do it light. Do it right. I'm an air sign, but my body moves like water. I took a salt bath. They threw dirt up on your daughter. Dried up in the fire. Now I got my crown in order. Purple on my head. I know I should. I know I aura. Yeah. Hey, Pisces. You know my haters be trying to hack into my phone because they be trying to steal my work. Because they really want to claim my work. Somebody wants to claim my voice. Someone actually has a recording of my voice and they're trying to find somebody who gives out the same frequency and the same tones. You should have seen Albert Schmitty with his old ass sitting there trying to play me out of my position. He mentioned someone who was drugged out of their mind, who he happened to record over in London. He didn't think I was listening to the details in which he was speaking, and he so casually threw out there that I might end up getting sexually assaulted if I go and try to do an actual real recording in a real master CD. See, he wanted to plant that thing in my mind to where I would always feel so paranoid that I would never go into anyone's studio and lay down any tracks. Isn't it a pity that I remembered Albert Schmitty? Isn't it a pity that I remembered that you wanted to remember what tune I sung in? What was that? C plus, C minus? Isn't it a pity that you keep trying to get someone to sing my songs, which they're lip syncing? And then there would be electric malfunction, and they would find out that here you are trying to do another Milli Vanilli. You see, you found somebody who you wanted to be the face, but I am the voice. I also am the face, but you found somebody who was low vibrational enough to let you hunch on them. So that was compensation enough for you to try to steal what was mine to give to them, because they would allow you to destroy their vessel with your bodily fluids. Oh, I'm sorry. Was I not supposed to know? Okay, Pisces, okay. Emperor, under judgment. Whoever did this, led this daggone witch hunt, whoever led this, whatever this was, they're under judgment. And now we have justice. So, I mean, really, I don't have to explain. We have an emperor going under judgment, and there will be justice. See, you don't get to intimidate people and take people. I wasn't going to sign any 360 deal, which would have put me in a situation much like other singers, because I have more than just singing. I have things that I had to give to the universe, and I came to give them all. However, you wanted to stop me from giving just one thing. You told yourself that I only had one thing or other to give to the world. I have more than that. But I do need my voice, and you tried to take it. You tried to steal my whole entire likeness, my identity, through hook, crook, and fear and sheer. You tried to intimidate me. You tried to build with mustard seeds of doubt that you tried to grow within my womb. You tried to steal my sacral energy. You sent in all these thugs and wenches to try to live around me. They're driving all of these mopeds and these cars around me, hoping to instill some type of fear in me because you thought that numbers meant something to me. Numbers only mean something to me when it's in my pocket in my bank account, when it's on my panel count, when I have to go to the doctors and they tell me you are negative of HIV and AID, and you definitely don't have HPV nor not one herpes. See, y'all tried to steal everything from me by any means necessary, be it my voice, my choice, my reputation, my options. You tried to hijack my life to give it to a low life. But I like Miller High Life, and surely they don't know nothing about champagne. They may know the brands that they have in the store, but they taste nasty. They don't know about my brand. They don't know about me. They don't know where my name came from. They don't know where my fame came from. They don't know the source. They don't know. They don't know. All they know is that they saw the messenger and they got close to her, and at some point in time they were trying to stretch out, and that ain't happened the way that they wanted it to happen. Give me my stuff back. I want my money, my house, my property. I want everything that's coming to me. Get off my stuff. I'm calling back everything. Collective, I suggest you do the thing. Do the same thing. Do the thing. Do the thing. Do the thing. They're not expecting you to ask for your change. If you sent them out with a 20 and you know that thing only costed about $15, I want all $4.47. Yup, that penny. Those 2 pennies. I want it all. So there's somebody who led themselves into judgment, and now justice does come. There is no gender in bullshit, bitches, and tarot. So yeah, whoever this is, they did a lot. They getting judged right now. Justice will arrive. 4 plus 20, 24. Told you I woke up at 4:02 yesterday, and I told you 4:20 was important. Somebody trying to smoke some herb. They trying to smoke and do something. Somebody trying to lace some weed too. I don't know who that's for, but it ain't coming across these lungs. Justice. Somebody's going to end up taking their own medication. Yep, they're going to forget. 4, 20, 11. So now we add the 4 and the 20. That's 24 plus 11. So that makes that 35. 35, somebody 35, or somebody is 53. This 53-year-old keep coming through. You're too old to be so damn childish, you 53. That's on the wrong side of 50 to be so damn miserable. Either way, Pisces, Aries, Mercury, Libra. There you go. Take what resonates, Sun, Moon, Rising. Leave the rest behind. This is about personalities and traits. Okie dokie. Let's get on over to Aries, because we started off in Taurus. That's the last but not the least. I noticed the forest. Hey. I be having so much stuff written down. I'm coming through with something. And yeah, eventually I'm going to make it back to where because Albert Schmitty, you scared me out of nothing, especially when you got sick 2 days later after you basically threatened me without threatening me. You laughed as you said it because you said it like it was a joke, but I didn't find it as a joke at all. You were basically telling me that I was under fear of having my rights and my being assaulted if I ever went to pursue what I wanted to pursue. And that's a possibility for anybody. But you really wanted to make it down on me. You wanted to put it so bad. You wanted it to sit in my bones to where every time I thought about being locked in the studio that I would get stage fright, that I would lock up and not be able to produce what I wanted to produce. You have no idea what I'd already survived. I survived my mother. I survived my brother. I survived my sister. I survived my father. So how dare you think that you're a formidable anything? I survived my aunts and uncles. I survived a lot of people's kids. I've survived a couple people's sons. I've survived a lot of people's daughters. How dare you think you my first rodeo? Just because I don't look like a goddamn piece of don't mean that I ain't been through them. The Tower came out. The Knight of Cups came out. Yeah, Aries, you're the last one. Somebody's got an empty cup, but they offering something. A Tower moment. 9 of Wands. Somebody's used to running around trying to offer an empty cup because that's their last ditch effort. And they bring towers wherever they are. They're a wounded warrior. They do this all the time. This is how they live their life on a cycle. Recycle. Offer, tower, survive. Survive, offer, tower. Tower, offer, survive. Survive, offer, tower. Somebody's always losing. It's what they're used to. It's just they're looking for someone else to attach to lose with them. Be mindful of letting people come around that have nothing to lose because they'll make you lose everything. Somebody will send them your way. Hey, they got a big heart. Put on your biggest tears, your biggest crocodile tears. Offer them servitude. Offer them indentured servant. Offer them all sorts of things. Hopefully, you'll stay long enough to make them fall. Be mindful of the homosexual season. Women are homosexuals too. They all do it differently. Just be mindful of someone coming to offer you something that looks like they have something to offer and they have nothing, and making you decline and then pulling on you to survive. Oh, please help me. You're barely about surviving yourself. You just basically came back online. Now here comes this person conveniently trotting down the street and they feel as though you can help them. Bid them adieu. You've been through enough. Don't allow anybody to drag you into their cycle. Take what resonates. Sun, moon, rising. 16 plus 9 makes that a 25, which is a 7, which is a complete cycle. Some people are going to have to go along and get along on their own. Let them keep trotting. Keep on walking. I ain't talking to you anymore. You could just go on. Go on, baby. Yeah, yeah. Keep on walking. I ain't talking to you anymore. Keep on walking. I ain't talking. CC Peniston. Yeah, that's what's up. Some people you see, you always see them. They always busted. They always got a story. They always got a cry. They always got a tale. Let them keep on pushing. Don't get sucked into that. You don't owe nobody none of your blessings. Keep them to yourself. Live your life. Don't let nobody come and put pressure on you. When you see people get on the wrong side of things, when people had the same exact 24 hours as you, yet they thought that they was going to tear your 24 hours up and live theirs in peace, let them people keep it moving. Let them people keep on pushing. Some people can't even pull up on me no more. I don't care if you see me walking and you got the best car with the most air conditioning. I ain't getting in it. Ain't no guarantee you going to make it through the next red light, green light, whatever. Just know some people wanted to see you down and they wanted to see you look like what you've been through, and because you don't, they're always going to have it out for you. Even if it seemed like they got up, some people got more than you, and you would think that they would go about their business and enjoy their blessings. Some people don't have that type of heart. They will use everything they got trying to destroy you until they end up losing it. So remember, you've been through enough, and you don't have to look like what you've been through. You don't have to feel guilty. You don't have to have survivor's guilt. Yes, y'all might have came from the same house, but you guys are definitely not the same people. Don't allow people to put guilt trip you because you guys share the same blood, the same last name, the same whatever. You allow them to walk their walk and you walk yours. That has been the Aries reading. That was feminine or masculine that acts feminine. Sagittarius and Aries. Take what resonates. Sun, moon, rising. And keep yourself up. Because you've all you got. You have all you got. All right. Till next time, this has been Nyx, and you've had your fix. It's not blinking. I hit end. Let me go. Ah, many blessings. Woo! Who's trying not to end my life? Somebody doesn't want to let me go? Or are they still sending messages? Because I done hit end like 5 times. Let's see if it happens. If this doesn't work, I'm going to have to do it another way. Here, Virgo man. I know they be hacking devices and shit. I know. Miserable. But if you got all of these resources and you so magic, why aren't you in the opposite direction and blessed and not angry at a person that's not angry at you? When I let go, I say go with God's speed. All
really don't care, darling. I just want everybody to go live their life and let me live mine.